Just wanted to first ask if you knew like Kira how she's doing after the fall she took and like
She's doing better. Yeah, that was a little scary. Yeah, she just hurt her back and her head a little bit on the fall, but I don't think she's concussed, so she should be okay.
and then also like more I saw Tiani was like suited up but she didn't play. I was wondering if you knew if she,
Yeah, still letting her recover.
so down in after the second half you're down 30 and only scored about like 6 in the second quarter. What do you think like how do you get out of that? How do you try to get out of that?
Yeah, I think that they did a really nice job switching and using their length to keep us off balance offensively. So, our remedy and our answer has to be to push that initial primary harder and then set better screens and change of pace. I thought we kind of started to go one pace off of off ball screens. And for a team that does a pretty good job switching and defending with their length, you got to change your pace up a little bit where you're slowing down and then speeding up off the staggers and things. So we'll continue to work on that. But I really didn't like I thought we missed a lot of easy shots that we need to knock down. So that's another thing that, our players are as disappointed as I am in those misses.
Who on Stanford do you think was giving you the most trouble as a defender?
I thought inside collectively, right? So, I thought 40's on the perimeter and she has a really nice shot out there. But then I think with 12 and 3 being able to post up and really get interiorly the positioning that they wanted, it allowed us to not double in off where we wanted to. But I thought they had a very balanced scoring attack. So I don't know that one in particular player hurt us more than any other. I just thought collectively they did a nice job distributing the ball and moving it.
I wanted to ask, at the end of the third quarter, I think there was like a second chance opportunity, like a tip in right before the buzzer that like completed like a 10-0 run. I was wondering what you thought about that.
Yeah, that tip in, if it could have been us doing it, it was awesome. But having to be on the other end of it, it was kind of like insult to injury a little bit.
Amira had another good game, and Chase told me it's like her over a two-game span, it's like her high. So I was wondering what you saw in her game today.
Yeah, I thought, one of the things that I know I can always count on Amira for is staying mentally engaged. She does a really nice job of keeping herself fired up, even through the tough, right? And so and I think credit at times to our players. This could have been a game where they could have just said, hey, we're going to stop playing. But I think they did try to continue to play hard. We just looked not good offensively. And defensively, when they exploited their size, it made us look small. But Amira stayed consistent trying to play both ends of the floor.
Speaking of kind of like the height, Aguirre and Ogden, like they were kind of dominating the rebounds. Like I was wondering what you thought playing against them tonight. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely need to make contact first and block out first before we go and try to get a rebound. And I think today there was multiple times where I saw us, even when we were trying to contest, you use a phrase like wall up. We would wall up, but then we wouldn't turn and block out after the wall up. We would just stay in our wall and kind of take a step toward the basket. Again, things we continue to work on, but we got to get better at it because I thought they were able to carve out space and get the rebounds that they wanted to get.
How do you it's a 12-game losing streak now. How do you describe like the feeling of this?
From a coaching standpoint, it's tough. It's very puts you in. I guess we always talk about you can't really. It's hard to be super positive when you're losing like this. But negativity does you no good ever in life. So can you get to neutral and figure out some solutions to keep working on them? And I think that's what even our team is doing in practice. To credit to them, they're coming to practice trying to work on our deficiencies and really trying to hone in and give everything they have in practice. And I know it doesn't look like that in our games and in our performance, but they are working hard. We've just had a lot of injuries, and we're going to keep working on it though. So I think a credit to our team and our coaching staff. They've continued to put in the hard work that's necessary to try to turn this around, and that's what we're going to keep trying to do.
What do you think it's going to take to see some of those shots fall? Because I know like some of your starters like putting up shots at the end but still not going in. What do you?
I know, and where that gets a little frustrating is, you know, a lot of times the coach can look at that and say, hey, but those kids aren't putting in the time. They haven't been in the gym on their own, but this team has. You know, multiple days this week they've been in before practice at 8 a.m. getting shots up and working on their game, and I need them to keep seeing it because keep doing it because they're not seeing the results right now. But that's got to pay off. You know, hard work has eventually got to pay off, and this team is working hard on their own. So I hope that they don't lose faith in continuing to do that, and then we just got to control what we can control.